Hi there, Mr. Pentherakis here from my e-teaching portfolio. Now, today I'm going to be talking about On Self-Reliance, the essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson. However, before I can get into that, I'm going to talk about Transcendentalism as a movement. You can't really talk about On Self-Reliance outside of the context of Transcendentalism as a movement. So today, I'm going to be talking about what it is, who was involved, how it came about, and ultimately, the most important question, what does it mean? The first thing to know is the most important or the most salient figure of the Transcendentalist movement was absolutely, without question, without a doubt, Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's considered the godfather or the founder of the movement. Now, a few things to know about Emerson. He's Harvard educated, graduated 13th in his class, was named his class poet, and after college, like many students do nowadays, he went on a quest of self-discovery and went traveling to Europe. When he got back, he came back with some confidence and made some money as an orator or public speaker. Now, in 1936, he wrote Nature, which is almost like the Transcendentalist Bible, probably the most important work of the entire movement. However, he wrote it anonymously. He didn't want anybody to know who had written it. In the same year, he joined what was called, or helped found what was called, the Transcendentalist Club, which was some of the most important intellectuals in Cambridge, Massachusetts. In other words, Emerson himself, George Putnam, and Frederick Henry Hedge. Okay, and they met weekly and exchanged ideas, and all their ideas were on the same wavelength. So it was this wonderful time of intellectual exchange and free flow. Now, what was Emerson reacting to in his development of his philosophy, Transcendentalism? Okay, so Emerson attended Harvard, and some things didn't mesh well with him about the school. Now, in Harvard, and some may argue it may still be like this today, where some people put so much importance on the fact that they attended Harvard, and that because they attended Harvard, they are so much better than the hoi polloi, or the average man, and they put like this stock in the fact that they went to this Ivy League prestigious school in Boston with all this history, and felt entitlement and superiority, and this type of intellectualism. Emerson despised this. Like he came up with this philosophy in sharp reaction to this. Another thing that he reacted sharply to is organized religion. Now, he was actually involved in the Unitarian Church, which, if you ever travel to Boston, is right there. It's right next to the Harvard campus. I think they have a chapel on the Harvard campus. Now, he was actually ordained a pastor at the Unitarian Church at a very young age. I believe the dispute that had him leave the church, or he finally was the last straw, and he left. Something about a Last Supper ritual where he was trying to explain to the church officials, well, why is this important? Why do we have to have a ritual? Can't your relationship with nature, with God, be your own? Can't you discover this on your own? You don't need this like hierarchy of people. And he considered all organized religion just antiquated machinery, and disliked it. Now, Transcendentalism was loosely influenced by the philosophies of Immanuel Kant, and they're very related to Eastern philosophies, which are actually gaining a lot of ground in the 21st century. As a matter of fact, another giant of the movement, Henry David Thoreau, in his masterwork on Walden Pond, quotes a Buddhist text, the Bhagavad Gita. Further on, Emily Dickinson and Walt Whitman also considered themselves transcendentalists. Okay? Transcendentalism was not without its detractors or its haters as well. As a matter of fact, Edgar Allan Poe and Nathaniel Hawthorne, they detested Transcendentalists. Edgar Allan Poe actually called the movement a disease, and Nathaniel Hawthorne actually wrote a satire about the Transcendentalists. Now, the Transcendentalists, a lot of the big players, a lot of the people who subscribe to this philosophy, some of the authors, they tried an experimental community, a experimental farm, and the thing was a disaster. Okay, they were supposed to grow their own food and sell the excess, and very similar to the like a hippie commune in like the 60s. However, the thing didn't last. The project, the experiment, did not last a year and a half. It was a financial disaster. There was infighting amongst the members. Who was going to be in charge? People left, came back. There was failed romances, bitter rivalries. It was just, any way you slice it, a total disaster. Nathaniel Hawthorne, who didn't like the Transcendentalists to begin with, was happy to pounce. In the Blithedale Romance, actually the entire novel, the Blithedale Romance, is actually a satire with the names changed to protect the innocent, and making fun of what a mess this hippie experiment that the Transcendentalists had tried out was. In my next video, I'm going to go on and talk about on self-reliance.